All right, looks like we've got a good number of people in here. So I'm going to do just a quick intro, then I'll hand it off to Jake and get things started. So my name's Jesse. I'm from SignAgent. I want to say a quick thanks to everyone for joining us today. Welcome to our webinar, How to Do a Site Survey, a Real World Example. Today's webinar will be hosted by Jacob, who's one of our account executives here at SignAgent. So a couple fun facts about Jacob. He's been with SignAgent since 2016. He's done pretty much everything from surveys to support to sales, which is where he's focused right now. He came in 6th in our fantasy football league, just behind me. He's left-handed, and his last name is pronounced Van Staldunen, for anyone who's ever wondered that. Don't ask me to spell it, though. If you're familiar with SignAgent at all, odds are you know Jacob pretty well already. So I'm just going to cover a couple of housekeeping items, and then I'll pass it off to him so we can get things started. So firstly, this webinar is being recorded. So if you need to step out or if one of your colleagues couldn't make it in today, this recording will be sent out to everyone later. So don't worry too much about that. Secondly, if you have any questions, feel free to send them through the chat at any point. I'll be monitoring the chat, and David will be on hand at the end of the webinar to answer any other questions you might have. If you want any more information about SignAgent, the mobile app, or any sort of surveying, you can feel free to email jacob@signagent.com, and he'll be able to help you or connect you with the right people. Finally, if you have any ideas for future webinars or information you'd like to learn more about for SignAgent, we're always looking for input, so you can send that along to Jacob as well. All right, that's enough talking for me. I'm going to hand it off to Jacob for how to do a site survey, a real world example.
Thanks, Jesse. You can confirm it. You can see my screen. All right.
Looks great.
Perfect. Yeah. Thanks for the introduction. And yeah, I didn't come last in fantasy football, so that's good. But yeah, thanks for teeing things up for me. Our participants are in really good hands with you, answering questions that come up in the chat. And I'm really excited to be here today as well and show the mobile app. Thank you, everyone, for being here. A quick agenda of what we're going to cover today. We'll start off by defining what a site survey is, what they're used for, why they're necessary, and current methods for how to do them. Then I'll introduce Hamilton Health Sciences, which is the example we're going to be running through today. So I'll lay out and frame the scenario for why we were there to survey. Then we've got a short little fun video for you of me completing that site survey at their hospital. So that will be good to watch. After that, I really get into the mobile app and I'll show you how to use it. I'll break down everything that you see in the video, how to prepare it, how to download, how to use it. Then we'll go over the results and the benefits that you get from using the mobile app. So once you sync it up to the cloud, you'll see all the information in there. And then everyone's favorite Q&A. If there are more questions or we'll review or comment on any ones that Jesse wanted to note as he's answering that come up. Okay, so what is a site survey? Let's get started and jump into it with this. A site survey is an important and crucial step before starting nearly every signage project, interior or exterior. So conducting one is a beginning, first step that involves researching and gathering information in the field, typically going out on site, taking pictures of signs, capturing and collecting accurate, precise information about what's currently there. The scope can involve wayfinding signs, branded assets, or situationals of lobby areas. The example I'll be running through today was just to collect photos, but it's not always just collecting photos. It can also include measurements, materials, and other hardware, tools, or equipment, thinking of electrical signs there. This information is important because it can determine and shape the rest of the project, ensuring an efficient design, production, and installation phases. And commonly what I hear from people are surveys are currently being done with a more manual process with a camera or print out floor plans and carts or clipboards, maybe other construction apps. But what you don't get there is any sign project connectedness. So you may have to enter it all again somewhere later. You have to carry things. You get a ton of pencil markups. I've heard it all. And there's no easy transition to the next team or users responsible for taking over the project next. All right, so let's get into the scenario. A little bit more of an introduction to Hamilton Health Sciences. They're a hospital network of 7 hospitals and a cancer center serving right here, Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. They recently switched to a new sign system at the hospitals, and they needed pictures in SignAgent to verify what's out there. So this is quite common. We hear this a lot. Essentially, they don't know what signs they have and that are out there in the field. So those existing signs need to be captured and recorded. So what a perfect opportunity for us to go out and use the SignAgent mobile app. Okay, having fun so far. Let's just see the mobile app in action now. I'm going to play the video of me surveying at their local, at the McMaster University Medical Center. Let's just check it out. Hey, this is Jacob from SignAgent. I'm really excited because we have a site survey coming up at a local hospital where we get to use the SignAgent mobile app. We're going to be taking pictures of existing signage at the Boris Clinic, which is part of Hamilton Health Sciences, and I want to take you along. So let me show you. Whew, I'm back and I'm out of breath. So yeah, I know that was fast. But what you saw there was me able to survey 160 signs, 33,000 square feet of clinic space in 30 minutes. And the big takeaway is that I did the whole survey on my iPhone, just using my iPhone and the SignAgent mobile app, which allows all the pictures to be captured at their exact locations on the floor plan. I'll get into it a lot more, as I said. I'll break down everything that happened there so you can see a bit more. But I want to say thank you to our contacts there at Hamilton Health Sciences for letting us come, film, survey. It was a really great morning. So let's dig in. Using the SignAgent mobile app, we'll dive in a bit on how I got set up to survey. And here's how we got there. So the first thing you need to do is actually you need to start in SignAgent. So this is the web version, and you need to create an organization. The organization is number one there. It's the facility or end user, who the signs are for at the end of the day. Of course, in this case, it's Hamilton Health Sciences. I know a lot of clients are here today, and if you're already using SignAgent and you have an organization, that's great. You're good. Project. Next is a project where this is a survey project. It can be that. The HHS organization already has a great list of folders they keep their projects in. It's a nice folder structure there. So we're working under a current projects folder, and there's a Boris Clinic project. The next thing is states. States are the phases and stages that the signs go throughout the course of the project. we've created one survey state because that's all we need right now for the purposes of this survey. Of course, more of the next states will exist later on based on the workflow. And those might include design or draft, review, fabrication, installation, and all the way to complete. But right now we're going to stick with that one survey state. All right, location plans is the next one, number 4. So the plan you see there is a PDF floor plan. The hospital gave us, and it got uploaded to SignAgent. You can batch import plans too, so you don't need to upload levels 1, 2, 3, 4 all individually, one at a time. So before you head out, you need to make sure you have something that you can tie those sign locations to. So upload the floor plan. And then the last thing here are your sign types. For the purpose of this survey, and usually our other surveys, we only need one undefined survey type. When we're in the field, we just like to focus on taking good pictures. And so we set them all in this one undefined survey type that you see at the very bottom there. Then later on, when everything is synced up and we're back at the office, that's when we'll do more of the data entry side of things, and we can assign it as a room ID, a directional sign, whatever it is. More on that a bit later. So next, let's talk about who's going to be doing the survey. How many people are we going to have? What kind of access do they need? Well, organization admins are the top. Like, that's the highest level of permission that you can get. Those are paid users who can edit and access every project and make changes to signs anywhere. And yeah, that's really great for the person in charge of the organization and doing the setup. However, if I'm just going to be a surveyor for the Boris Clinic project, I can add myself just to that specific project as a project member here. So that means adding my email address there. If I'm a new user, it will send me an invitation email to this project. So I need to create my account, and you need to be a paid user to be a member as well. But that gives me the ability to take new pictures of signs, add new signs. And I will only see the Boris Clinic project. I won't see any other projects at all in that project list. I won't see import, JH stem cell, anything. And then, yeah, as a bit of a side note, you can have the organizational viewers, project viewers, and sign state viewers, but they can only see signs where you've added them. And on the mobile app, the permissions act the same way. So if I was added as a viewer here instead of a member, I would still be able to see the signs in that project, and I could add pictures to those existing signs, but I won't be able to create new signs, which you want to do for a survey. Tap and hold to take a picture and add a sign. So yeah, once we've got the organization prepped and we've added our users now, it's set up and prepped, we're ready to move to the mobile side of things. Let's do it. You can download the mobile app. So as long as you're above 12 years old, you can download the app from the Apple App Store. You can log in. And this is where it will show you the organizations and projects you're a part of. It's all coming down from the web app onto your mobile device. And then you want to open the floor plans. So you can see that McMaster University level 4 is a bit more colored there. The rest were sort of lightly grayed out. That's because the app is smart and it saves space by not downloading every plan all at once. So this is a crucial step to pre-download the plans that you're going to be using before you head out on site, because that part needs Wi-Fi and a connection. If I was on site and I didn't have any connection, I could still do my surveying on level 4 now because I've pre-downloaded it. You don't need any connection. But if you say, oh, I have to go to level 3, you're going to have to download it. You're going to need a connection. So next, continuing on from here, let's keep it going. You got to locate where you are by zooming in. And you can rotate the plan with your fingers or by using the 45-degree buttons on the bottom. So we came off of the elevator there, then we were facing this way. And to take a picture, you tap and hold. So there's my picture of the Boris Clinic. You snap it. You could take multiple pictures here if you want to. I could add a comment here as well if you notice something on the sign. Then also there in that sign details page you just saw, you could enter more information about the sign. The sign, you saw it's part of the survey state. It's on the right level. And as I said earlier, we're gonna keep the sign type to be just a survey type. But depending on your circumstances, you might want to change it to another sign type if you have them. And then, so from here too, it's not in the video, but you can move this sign around. Like if I tapped and held on the wrong spot, so I could move it around with my fingers. I could change the direction that the sign was facing to. So that comes in handy sometimes. But of course, now you're off to the races. Like as you saw in the main video, I took pictures of the whole clinic this way. Overhead directionals, room signs. This was my whole process. Tap and hold, take the picture, tap and hold, find where you are on the plan. I moved up to the lobby there and then through all those exam rooms. And then, like something I touched on the last slide too is you don't need Wi-Fi or a connection to do this part once you've pre-downloaded and unpacked this floor plan. Oh, look at this, a bonus. So another thing I want to mention about the mobile app, it wasn't part of our survey, but look at what you can do with these fields. Here's an example of adding message fields for the room number, the room name on the mobile app. And you can also add details fields to each sign type as you're standing there as well. So yeah, you can see you can add the dimensions, the materials, and more. You can also make them appear as set choices. For example, if you wanted someone to say whether a sign is electrical, yes or no, you can have that field have the box and display just those two choices, yes or no, in a dropdown, as I laid out for you there. There could also be tags. So for example, at like a department store, I heard maybe you want to tag something as the clothing section. You can do that as well. So back to when I was done surveying, I took 160 pictures. My final step here, our work's done in the field. Congrats. To move it back to the cloud, we just need to pull down and refresh. That will initiate the syncing process, and it gives you a countdown. So it goes through every sign that was added, every picture, every comment, every note made, and it will send it back up to the organization on the web. Again, this is a part that you need a connection for. And I hope I didn't fake anyone out with the picture. It's not a video this time, it's just a picture. It's not frozen at 3 signs. Okay, so free tips from Jake. But before you head out, try it out. Do a test. Take a picture of your desk, your dog, your plant, and sync it up. You can always delete it, and it's just really good practice because being prepared really is the key here for a successful survey. So you can make the most of your survey day while you're on site. And yeah, together with the preparation, let people that are there know you're coming, whether that means getting everything set up security-wise, like get your badges in order if you need to. Actually, for the Boris Clinic survey, we had the hospital employee walk with us, and that's always helpful too. All right, then second tip there is hardware. One of the most common questions I get too are what we recommend to use. And I mean, you're seeing me use my phone, but any up-to-date iOS, so that's iPhone or iPad device works. We prefer to use iPads out in the field I like the iPad Pro because of the speed, but the iPad Mini really works too. It fits nicer in your hand. It's a good size. And the reason we like the iPads is because of it gives you a bigger screen and you're able to see more of the plan than you would on a small little iPhone. Okay, communication. Out in the field, if there are multiple surveyors, you can spread out, but just be sure you say, hey, I'm doing this hallway. I'm going to survey up to the lobby or up to this part of the building, because you don't want to overlap. But I know we've talked a lot about not having a connection, but if you do have Wi-Fi or data, it will actually sync a little bit in the background to avoid the double capture. So it makes it a bit easier. If two people are surveying with Wi-Fi, I would be able to see the tags where my partner had just surveyed, if we both have Wi-Fi. Okay, and then the plans. Let's be honest, sometimes you don't always get nice, clean plans or even get plans at all. Try your best to ask for them. It's really important to have something to tie the locations to. Like even entire site plans work too. Exterior maps work on the mobile app too. Actually, so if you're doing a large exterior project or a large park, you can capture the coordinates of those as well once it's synced up. But yeah, back to the plans. One thing I even see is people take pictures of the evacuation maps and then they upload that as a floor plan. So at least it's something there. Okay, so yeah, we've synced up. Let's see what we get when we're back in the office or home office. So there's all the signs on the floor plan. Yeah, it's the survey state. They're all on the McMaster University Medical Center level 4, and there's my sign type. So all the signs are there in their exact location, and the pictures that I took of them. So you get a little preview if you hover over it. But if you click on it, you can see the sign is in the survey state. I can see the direction that it's facing. I can see the sign type. And there's my full picture. And I can see Jacob V. Venstall added the sign on December 14 at 9:48 a.m. And there's a nice picture of the Boris Clinic. So also here, any note that I would have made would have also shown up here in the comments. So yeah, and you can see the other tags there below, the one that I've clicked on. It's all there. I walked around and they all were synced up. So actually, maybe you caught it in that last quick video. I skimmed over it, but I want to mention and focus on what you also get is OCR, optical character recognition. SignAgent can actually read and detect the text of all the pictures of signs that I took. So for this Boris Clinic sign, it can read it and tell me what the message is, and it's putting it for me in a detected text box for me to copy and paste in the actual message field. So this sign says the Boris Clinic, Academic Medicine Outpatient Clinic. And with that text, you actually already have a searchable database. So you can see without even any data entry, categorizing sign types or entering messages, I can already search for signs that say Boris Clinic on them. Yeah, and there's 5 of them on level 4, so I've got my count. I can even expand this view to see like a list of all my pictures. And okay, yeah, you could even go more advanced. And this is another example. Maybe you want to say, find me all the signs that say Boris Clinic, have photos attached to them, and were taken on December 14. And I mean, it would probably be those same 5 signs that would show up, but yeah, it's just showing you can still get more granular. And I know that sign there is a banner, which was unsure whether it needed to be included or not, but we got it just in case. Safer to get it and not need it than having to go back out there because we needed them and because we missed it. Then what we did was we categorized. We entered the data by categorizing the sign types. That's an RS sign. I enter in the message. So it's in section 4Z, Canadian. The room number is 12. And we actually have templates set up for this organization as well. So I'm entering in the colors and the text is large. So then you Command S or Control S if you're on PC, it's going to save it and refresh. Now it's going to draw that sign artwork for me. And that is production ready vectorized sign artwork. So we were able to complete this whole clinic survey really easy on our phone, 30 minutes. There was no double entry along the way or having to convert and move pictures from a camera with markups or comments on paper over. This organization is now set up with accurate information for Hamilton Health Sciences to now manage and search for any signs and any pictures of what's there in the Boris Clinic. So they don't have to visit campus every time they get a new signage request now, or if something changes, maybe this becomes clinical manager. They have accurate data. Even if they change the standards later on, they have the data in there that they can easily adjust, and it will create new artwork for all of it, every room sign that they have now. So yeah, it's accurate and consistent as if a designer had done it. It applies their wayfinding standards accurately, and it's all there for them. Okay, it's a short one today, but that's really because the mobile app is really simple. Thank you, everyone, so much for joining me. I really enjoyed showing you the mobile app, and I hope you enjoyed seeing how we survey with it. Hopefully, you were able to come away with some learning and benefits of the mobile app. If you have a site survey coming up and you're interested in learning more, I'd definitely be happy to talk to you and your team. You can contact me with my information on the screen, or if you'd like to set up a mobile demo, you can email sales and they'll follow up with a link to set something up. Again, we can go over even more best practices or training your team on the mobile app. If you're already using SignAgent, your license includes access to this mobile app. So the webinar is over, you can download it now. And also stay tuned for future webinars on using the SignAgent mobile app, because there's also cases where it can be used for installation and punch listing and ongoing maintenance. Thank you. Jesse, how's the chat looking? Is there any questions you'd like to expand on here, or any other comments for you and David as well?
I think I was able to keep up with almost everything. It was a pretty active chat today, which is great to see. One thing that's more of a note than a question is a lot of people are saying a useful feature to add in the future would be the ability to add notes or other sort of markups to the photos as you're working in the mobile app. So I'll pass that along to our team. A lot of people have also been saying that an Android version would be useful. If that's the case, let us know. It is on our roadmap. We'll definitely be developing it in the future. Just send a quick note to Jake saying, hey, I need that Android app, and he'll make sure it happens sooner rather than later.
Thank you. I hear the Android app quite often too, and I'd love to get that out as soon as we can too. It opens it up. And for the markups, I understand that too. I know there's there's a workaround where if you have to leave the app, unfortunately, and then take a picture and mark it up and then take a screenshot of that. But then once you have that screenshot and you open back up the SignAgent mobile app, you can add a photo from your library and that works. So it doesn't have to be the photo that you're taking. You can add one that's currently in your iPhone library.
All right, I'm going to try to go rapid fire through a few of these. For Leslie, some tips in using the survey tool outdoors. I would say almost everything is more or less the same. The only note I would say is that if you're working over a large area, you can also use SignAgent's exterior mapping integration. So we use something called Mapbox instead of an uploaded PDF. So you can use that, and it's similar. It's a similar interface to like Google Maps. It's not Google Maps, but it's similar. So then you can capture photos across a wide area using the map instead of an uploaded PDF if you don't have that. The punch listing process is pretty similar to what you saw here, but it is something that I think we're going to cover either in an upcoming webinar or in an upcoming blog post. So, keep an eye out for that. For Kirk, the orientation of the sign in the mobile app will be automatically done based on the way your map is facing. So if you orient the map to the way you're facing, the sign will be facing that direction as well. If you want to rotate it after the fact, you can select it by tapping on it, and there's a rotation button that'll pop up. So you can click and drag, and that will help it to rotate. The question about intention to bring LiDAR-based markups in, that is something that we've started looking into, but that is pretty kind of cutting edge, and not every device has it yet. So I would say, yes, we're looking into it, but it doesn't exist yet. Michelle asked if you can do different custom markers or two-sided markers. Yes, that should be matching up with what you see on the web pretty soon.
Yeah, currently, I think it just shows the one type of marker, but we will be updating that, and I'll make a note of that as well.
Yeah. For Carol, the free trial does include access to the mobile app as well. So, while you're using the free trial, we want you to be able to evaluate everything SignAgent has to offer, so you can make the right decision on whether it's a good fit for your team. So yes, it does include that. All right, I think that's it for questions. We track all of the feedback that you guys are sending in too. We'll go through it later and make sure we're passing along feature requests and things like that to the team. And that's how we make a lot of decisions about what's getting developed next. So, keep them coming. We love to hear from you guys, the good and the bad. If there's something that's not working for your team, let us know, and we'll make sure to, make some improvements.
Yeah, Mark Lightfoot just mentioned the archive flag for mobile. So yeah, we'll look into that as well.
Yeah, one of the big things that our mobile team is working on next is the ability to selectively sync. So similar to like a file sharing software like Dropbox or Google Drive. So you can choose what's being synced up and down every time to kind of speed up that process.
And getting the files, like the attached PDFs, so that those will be right at your fingertips.
Technical drawings, yeah, should sync down to mobile soon.
To Deanna, so right now, whatever you sync down onto your phone will be included in your storage, and it'll sort of stay in there. But when you sync everything up, all of the photos will be changed to on your phone, they'll be changed to a smaller version. So the full size, the original photo will be uploaded into the web and stored on our servers, and then it'll sort of reduce the space required on your phone until you kind of go back into it. So that's something to note for storage. If that becomes an issue, let us know. It's something we can help. We've got some workarounds we can help you with as well. The recording of the webinar will be sent out to everyone after this. And it'll also be posted on our website in the future as well, if you want to find it there.
Yeah, review it, share it with your colleagues. We'll also include
kids.
We'll also include like links to schedule these demos, to download the app. That will be an important one. to include there?
Is it possible to get auto-detected sizes of existing signage? I would say not yet. That falls in line with some of the LiDAR questions we got before, where you can sort of auto-detect dimensions and things like that based on some of those advanced features. It's not there yet, but it's something we are looking into and would love to implement in the future. To Carol, yes, so there are filters in the mobile app, which I'm not sure if Jake covered or not. Sorry, I was watching the chat. But there's a little filter icon in the top right corner where you can filter between different sign types, different states, and different review statuses as well. So if it's been approved, rejected, or hasn't yet been reviewed, so you can turn off, if you've got an existing sign state and a new signage state, you can filter one or both off and on, so you can see either both or new, whatever you need to do based on what your scope is for that day.
Yeah, the survey I did had one type and one state, so there was no filtering needed, but absolutely the visibility filters work just as well on the web, right? You could filter down to any state or any type. You can see just the room ID signs that I've taken pictures of.
One thing to note as well for Deanna, if all of your projects are syncing to your phone, if you go into the preferences menu, so top left corner, when you first log into the app, there's an option called thin client mode. And then it will only download the location plans that you ask it to. So essentially you go into the location plan page, you tap on the locations, and then it will sync that particular location down instead of syncing everything at once. So if you're only going to a certain building on a day, you can sync down those 3 or 4 locations, and the rest of them will be left behind until you need them later on.
I think thin client mode comes standard on when you download it. Do you know?
Yep. I believe that's the case.
Yeah,
if so, not, I mean, it's just a little toggle in the preferences menu.
Yeah. There's also some other fun settings in there too. Like you can, when you tap and hold to add a sign, I had my camera pop up right away, but you can have the sign details show up first. So if I just wanted to do the details before I take the picture, you can do that and then tap the camera button.
A state falls under, so you've got kind of 3 levels. You've got your organization that contains everything. You've got projects, and then you've got states. States typically outline the way that the project goes from start to finish. So it's, similar to, it's in the left-hand sidebar on the web app in the top section. You can also find lots more information on it on our website. I think there's an article called What is a State? So if you go to support.signagent.com, you can find a lot more information about that on there. We are planning other webinars in the future. The next one will probably be either in a month or 2 months, depending on how ambitious we're feeling. If you guys have ideas on what you'd like to see about SignAgent in a future webinar, let us know, and we will, we'll take that into consideration. For Keegan, sorry, I missed that one earlier. What I would probably do is I would just create a separate sign type for that. The question was, he needed to take a photo for a future opportunity, but not document an existing sign. So you can have a certain sign type for signs and a certain sign type for not signs or future opportunity or situational. So that way it's easy to sort of filter those out later on. You can also just make a note in one of the note fields that says situational, or leave a comment that says, future opportunity. Those are all searchable as well. So there's a few different ways to do it, but creating a separate sign type is probably the easiest. Thanks to everyone for all these questions. Seriously, it's great.
Great questions. Thank you.
All right, looks like it's slowing down. If you guys have any other questions you didn't get a chance to ask, or you think about them later, or if you're watching this webinar later and you need to ask them, send a quick message to support@signagent.com. We've got a great support team. Alex will probably get back to you really, really quickly with either an answer or, a time to set up a discussion so we can help you further.